It's time for another Dice Tower review from Gamers Remorse.
Hello and welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Brian, you gonna eat that other Twix?
Yeah, who's gonna stop me? You and what army?
This one! To war!
Rivet Wars is a war miniatures game for 2 players and takes about 30 minutes to an hour to play. The objective of the game is to achieve the most number of victory points through obtaining secret missions, destroying enemy units, and controlling key map locations. One player is the Allies and the other player is the Blight. Gameplay is made up of 5 phases: card draw, deployment, combat, movement, and then wrap-up. At the beginning of each turn, players draw 1 action card per turn and a maximum of 2 secret mission cards. The action cards are used during your turn to offer you an advantage. The secret mission cards allow a player another means of obtaining victory points. Next, the deployment phase begins. Players deploy a number of unit points denoted by the scenario. The scenario shown is 6 unit points and 1 rivet. The rivet points can be banked on the tracker tile, while unit points cannot. The cost of each unit is on the player mats. Basic infantry, like the riflemen and the Panzerfausts, are 1 point each. Cavalry and artillery are 2 points each. Tanks and heroes are varying points. Once deployment is complete, combat can begin. The tiles are made up of 9 grids. Each miniature has a range which determines the number of grids away a player can attack. Then attackers reference how many dice are rolled against the armor of the defending unit. For instance, a rifleman attacking a Panzerfaust of armor 1 would roll 3 dice, as indicated by the player mat. If any of those dice are a 5 or 6 when rolled, then the attack counts and the unit is hit. The unit earns a damage point. Once all miniatures have made an attack, then the movement phase begins. Players can move all of their units up to the maximum movement as denoted on their reference mat. Each grid movement counts as a single movement point. Finally, players wrap up by determining if they have achieved any victory points for the scenario. Then they move the victory point tracker accordingly. Also, secret missions are declared at this time. The first player to reach the number of victory points as declared by the scenario wins.
Alright, so I believe the first thing we do in this game is roll the die to figure out who has initiative.
That we do.
Yeah, so...
High roll goes first. 5.
6.
Wow.
Boom.
Cheater. Waited.
Nailed it. Blitzkrieged it. Right? That's a thing. Okay. So I don't draw an action card as the first player. However, I do get to draw 2 secret misiones.
Dos misiones.
So on this scenario that we're playing, I get to place 6 points worth of units out there. We are going to do 2. Two. All right, and then combat phase, and there's no one out there to attack.
Yep.
So I immediately go into movement phase. With my Panzerfaust's running ability, or runner ability, they get to move an extra 1. So 1, and then an extra 1. Same thing here, 1, and then an extra 1. And then my mono-wheeled Dragoon actually gets to move 3. That is all of my movement.
Yep.
And now I have no objectives, so it goes on to Brian's turn.
All right. 2. I'm gonna kind of mirror you over here. 4. 6. And then for combat, this guy here has a range of 4.
Which is ridiculous.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. When attacking versus infantry units, he rolls 2 die, and he attacks everyone in the grid. So I will begin by attacking the top guy.
Oh!
Double 6s. I will now attack the bottom guy.
Oh!
6 and a 5. This guy here has a range of 2, so he cannot hit anyone. My riflemen have a range of 1. They cannot hit anyone. So this guy is going to go 1, 2.
So that's 2. Instead of this guy, I'll put this guy out here.
All right.
You guys have armor of 1.
Correct.
So I attack with 2 dice.
All right.
And I'm starting with this top guy. No.
Bottom guy.
Bottom guy. Snake eyes. All right. Now we're going to go for... No, I can't because I failed the first one.
Correct.
These guys can shoot a distance of 2. 1, 2. So each of them are going to shoot at these guys, starting with the bottom guy. And they only get to roll 1 die each. Miss. And then the other one goes for the other one. Hit. So I'm going to move these guys out 1. Technically they can move 2. I'm going to move these guys out 1. These guys get to move 2, so they're going to do that.
Interesting.
I know, crazy, right? And then these guys are going to move here. I have Tally Ho, have 3 units in No Man's Land.
All right.
So I think I have that.
Yep.
So that gives me 2 points. Schnellen Sie machen Sie Fragen. I mean, that was German.
I apologize to all of our French viewers.
Is that French?
I don't know what that was. German?
It was bad
Spanish?
German. Was ist los?
No speaking Germano, right?
Let's go right into review. When you do a miniature game and you sit down and you paint every model meticulously, you kind of bond with the game. It's almost like you sold your soul to it, right? Because you've spent countless nights painting these little miniatures and picking out the paints and trying to just, you know, like, I have to love this game. So, you know, I may be a little biased now because I spent so many nights with each of these models. Brian, however, might have a differing
I spent no nights with these models.
He spent no nights with these models.
These are not the models.
The miniatures are awesome. Each of them have finely crafted details, and I don't even know if you saw this. I only know it because I was painting them. Each of my Panzerfausts have 3 different positions, even though they're all the same. And there's kind of a backstory for each of the mini dudes. Like, I have Baron Gaston Tanken and Jaeger Erwin Koenig. We didn't play with much of the plugs, unfortunately, with this playthrough. We did previously. Overall, I would say it's a good game. I'm looking forward to Wave 2 is what they're calling it. They're going to have a lot more heroes in that pack. There's a biplane, which will be pretty cool. There's a blimp. Like, there's going to be a lot of cool things in there. As it is now, it seems a little bit unbalanced, but that could be because we really only played it through once, so prior to this. So it could be we failed to capitalize on some of the abilities of our dudes. So I noticed you went a lot for your rocket cycles, and those are cool. But I realized early on that my Panzerfaust can take out your rocket cycles super easy. But your rifleman can take out my Panzerfaust. So it's a little bit of a cat and mouse thing that, I don't know.
And you'll learn why soon.
Yes. So I'm going to go through my rubric real quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time other than my general feeling is I actually really do like this game. This seems like a war miniature gateway game. And that is something really cool. We saw something similar with Super Dungeon Explorer, and I think this does it better, is what I want to say. It had the cool video game aspect to it, but this has more of the war miniature vibe to it. So, right into my rubric, quality of components, 0 to 2. I'm giving it a 2. Everything from the little manual that came with it, it had this really cool graphic novel style to it. It even had artwork that is like
essentially propaganda posters.
Yeah, propaganda posters. I mean, it had, it was awesome. So I'm gonna give it a 2. Quality of components are fantastic. Good balance of skill to luck. That's where it gets iffy. As you saw, I totally exploited the secret missions, and I was able to get a 5-point head start from Brian immediately. And that seems a bit much. So, and like any war game, it all comes down to dice rolls. However, if you know how to utilize your army to get the best number of dice, that also works to your favor. Analysis paralysis, not really surprisingly. I didn't think there was. You might feel different because I'm analysis paralysis prone, but I didn't think it was there, so I'm going to give it a point for that. Theme, I absolutely love the theme. There's a whole mythos behind the whole Rivet world. They drew a map and everything, and it's cool. Like, take my word for it. So I'm going to give that a 2. Thrill versus competitive, it goes so fast it's hard to get that thrill going, is kind of what I felt. The first time we played through it, it was kind of long because we were learning rules and we had questions at every turn. This time through, though, it went so fast I barely worked up a thrill. So I'm going to give it a 1 for that. And was it fun? Yeah, I had fun. I could see getting into this. It's a good, quick game if you want a miniature game that's faster than, you know, Flames of War or Warhammer or any of those longer games. Plus you get to wear really cool army hats.
Yeah.
I mean, they aren't included, but, you know, I gave it that score.
All right.
I liked it. So that's where I'm at. But again, I sold my soul to the game by painting miniatures for like, you know, 72 hours straight. But hey,
Yep.
Brian, what'd you think?
Like Sean said, this is a great gateway to miniature gaming, especially miniature war gaming. They replicate a lot of miniature war games in the mechanics, which are fantastic. You know, you have a certain point army, only it's each turn you replenish with that many points. But, you know, like I said, I got that feel. So let's just jump into my rubric here and kind of go through some of these things. Visuals, I'm gonna give that 1.5. Like Sean mentioned, the rule book is fantastic. One of the things I actually liked about it is the font was large. It wasn't, you know, your 8-point trying to see what they said. It was large enough that you could hold it the way you'd normally read a book and read it easily. The art was fantastic. The miniatures are marvelous. The only thing is not everyone is going to spend that time painting them. And so that's one of my problems with miniature games, is that is more time you have to invest in painting. Now, if you enjoy painting, that's fantastic. If you don't enjoy painting and you're a bad painter and or there, you're going to hate it. You know, and so I mean, it'd be really cool if they came pre-colorized. Realistically, most people will play with them with the 2 base colors. And they are different colors initially, so you can do that. So then for skill and luck, I'm gonna give it a 0.5. Now in our gameplay, you'll notice I focused mostly on my motorcycles because my secret missions where I had to attack with 3 cavalry in 1 turn. I never had 3 cavalry able to attack in 1 turn.
Because I would take them all out.
So I could not finish that secret mission. And the other one was Change of Command, in which I had to kill a hero. Now, you'll notice Sean's heroes never got within range of any of my soldiers. So I was not once able to even attempt to finish any of my secret missions. And in the rules, there's no discard secret mission to get a new secret mission. You can discard actions, but not secret missions. And so on that skill to luck, I'm gonna give it a 0.5. Because I couldn't do secret missions, and as you notice, most of our points came from secret mission cards. And when you can't use them, that's a huge hindrance. And then for pacing, I'm gonna give that 1.5. It wasn't perfectly paced. There was, while Sean was taking his turns, I did have to kind of manage what was going on, but the first time we played it, when you're teaching someone, it does take a while to teach, and I know people who they would strategize their entire turn before they move a single piece to make sure they maximized whatever they could do, and they'll have a 20-minute turn potentially. Theme and immersion, 1.5. I really felt this game. It was really fun. You know, you have this idea of, you know, you're sitting in your command tent monitoring what's going on, and you're like, deploy some troops over here, and we need more long range, drop these guys back here, and that was really exciting. I really enjoyed that. And it totally got that theme in a short period of time. I didn't have to dedicate an entire day to scratch that itch, so to speak. The mechanics, I'm going to give that a 1. I loved the way the mechanics worked. I loved that you had a set deploy. I loved that you could accumulate rivets over time to release your bigger units. I loved how you were fighting over those areas, a capture the flag or a conquer the hill, or various game types all rolled into one. Which is really exciting. The only downside was the secret mission cards. I would honestly, I'd make a house rule saying you can discard one of your secret missions. That's just something I would do as a house rule. And then was it fun? I'm gonna give that a 1.5. It was definitely fun. I mean, I would be more than willing to play this a few times a night. I would love to see how you could make it a more than 2-player game. It'd be really fun to see 4 armies fighting over this one key infrastructure or something, or even a 2v2. So, I mean, it's definitely amazing. They have expansions in the works and things that are coming out, as Sean mentioned, that are just going to make it all that much better. And I could see a game like this becoming something that they release 1 or 2 expansions a year and just continually builds and builds and builds, which I think is great.
Another mechanic that I don't know if you mentioned was on these tanks, you can actually pop the pieces out and upgrade them with different units. So
That's really
I have a
cool.
hero that you can just pop in there. I mean, he's technically not supposed to be in the allied one, but
You stole my tank.
yeah, the fact that you can upgrade units with additional points, really cool. I also like that, unlike a lot of war games, you have to get out a ruler and measure and determine angles. You know, this uses a grid system, so it's super easy. So overall, we liked it. Comments below. What are your thoughts? How badly did I paint these? I know I told you not to mention it, but
Ignore that advice. Listen to the advice now. Just
right,
have at 'em.
right. Tell me how badly I painted these.
Or how awesome he painted them.
Right, right. I will take compliments as well. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. I forgot I had a pin in my pants.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.